Christmas night, 1996. Boulder, Colorado. Inside a beautiful home decorated for the holidays, a family went to bed after celebrating together. But by morning, their world and the nation's would be shattered. 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey, a child beauty queen, was found murdered in her own basement. A ransom note, a stunned family, a crime scene that raised more questions than answers. Nearly 3 decades later, the case remains unsolved. Was it an intruder? Was it someone inside the house? Tonight, we examine the chilling mystery of the JonBenet Ramsey case. JonBenet Patricia Ramsey was born in 1990. Bright, charismatic, and full of energy, she was adored by her parents, John and Patsy Ramsey. By the age of 6, JonBenet was already a rising star in child beauty pageants, winning crowns, trophies, and admiration. But along with the spotlight came scrutiny. Some questioned why such a young child was placed in pageants. Still, to those who knew her, JonBenet was simply a little girl who loved dressing up, singing, and playing. Her life seemed picture-perfect, until the night it ended. On the morning after Christmas, Patsy Ramsey woke early and walked downstairs. That's when she discovered a note on the staircase. A ransom note, 3 pages long, demanding $118,000 for JonBenet's safe return. Patsy immediately called 911. Police arrived quickly, but mistakes were made from the very beginning. Family and friends were allowed to move freely through the house, contaminating what would later be called one of the most mishandled crime scenes in U.S. history. As hours passed with no sign of JonBenet, officers suggested John Ramsey search the house again. It was in the basement wine cellar where John made the horrific discovery. There, hidden beneath a white blanket, lay the body of his 6-year-old daughter. JonBenet had been strangled with a homemade garrote. There were signs she had been struck on the head. The case had now shifted from a kidnapping to a murder. The ransom note remains one of the most puzzling pieces of evidence. It was unusually long, 3 pages handwritten. It demanded exactly $118,000, the same amount as John Ramsey's Christmas bonus. The language was bizarre. It used phrases like "we are a small foreign faction" and "don't try to grow a brain, John." Handwriting experts studied the note. Some believe Patsy Ramsey may have written it. Others disagreed. To this day, no conclusive match has been made. From the moment JonBenet's body was found, the case spiraled into a media storm. News outlets broadcast every detail: the ransom note, the pageants, the Ramsey family's wealth. Police struggled between 2 theories. Was this the work of an intruder, or was someone inside the home responsible? Suspicion soon turned toward the Ramseys themselves. Critics pointed to their behavior in interviews, calm, sometimes even rehearsed. Supporters said they were grieving parents under siege. Meanwhile, leads about an intruder, from an open basement window to unidentified DNA, remained unresolved. Over the years, theories multiplied. The intruder theory suggested someone entered the home through the basement. Unidentified DNA found on JonBenet's clothing seemed to support this. Yet, no intruder was ever identified. The family theory focused on John, Patsy, or even their 9-year-old son, Burke. Some investigators believe the ransom note was staged to cover up an accidental death inside the home. But no one was ever charged. The Ramseys always maintained their innocence. In 2008, the family was officially cleared when new DNA testing ruled them out as suspects. Still, the debate rages on. Was JonBenet killed by a stranger, or was the truth closer to home? Nearly 30 years later, the JonBenet Ramsey case remains unsolved. Why was the ransom note so long, and why did it match John Ramsey's bonus? Why was the crime scene so mishandled? And whose DNA was found on JonBenet's clothing? The case continues to fascinate, horrify, and divide public opinion. JonBenet was more than a pageant queen. She was a child full of life, whose future was stolen on a winter night. Her story remains frozen in time, a chilling reminder that some of the darkest mysteries lie not in distant shadows, but within the walls of our own home.